It had been 4 long years since my husband and I divorced after our 25-year marriage. I told myself, like all the self-help books did, that the end of my marriage was just a new beginning. Little did I know that it would only be a precursor to an even greater change in my life when I would suffer a stroke and I would truly have to start over and learn how to live again. So let me describe to you that moment. I had just bounced back from my divorce and I felt like a teenager in love again. This was 2 years ago. I was dating a guy named Joe and we went on vacation together in Orlando. That morning we took a nice walk together, hand in hand, sharing pleasantries about how lucky we were to have this opportunity and to share it with each other. This is a tremendous luxury when you work full-time and you are a single parent. In the mornings, Joe went to work conferences, so I busied myself and went to the gym and ran for 45 minutes. Afterwards, I did some yoga on the balcony of our hotel suite. Just after my divorce, I needed an outlet, something new for me to become a part of. So I started taking yoga classes. As a registered nurse, I had always been healthy and always took care of myself. So naturally, I was drawn to yoga. Yoga was a place of solitude, and I would practice about an hour each day within the corners of my floor mat. It was all about me. I would become stronger, a better parent, and open to love again. The view from the balcony of the hotel was beautiful, but this was Orlando in the summertime. It wasn't just hot yoga, it was scorching hot yoga. It was then that I ran the tub in the suite. I clearly remember getting into the water and laying my head back against the back of the tub. I felt myself begin to slip under the water, and I started to cough and sputter. I attempted to keep my head out of the water and keep my airway open. I reached for the side rails to help me sit up. I tried to make my left arm work and my left leg, but they were limp. I kept coughing and choking on the water. If there is such a thing as fate or luck or a guardian angel, whatever you call it, it came to me at that moment. Joe decided to come back early from his meeting that morning. Coming through the door, he called out to me, but he got no response. Within minutes, he found me lying on the bottom of the tub and immediately gave me the Heimlich. Unaware that I had just suffered a stroke, I opened my eyes. Thus, a new beginning. It was like a baptism, and I was born again. Joe, upon noticing my facial droop on the left side of my face and my inability to lift my left arm or leg, said, "Honey, I think you are having a stroke." Let me tell you, I have been a runner my entire life. I eat well, I attend yoga class almost every day. I cannot be having a stroke. I am a nurse. I am the one who is supposed to take care of people. I just need a cool towel, I told him. I was in complete denial. I refused to sign the paperwork for the treatment on our way to the hospital. Before I had time to process what had happened, I went straight to surgery at the ER. The surgeon pulled a 5-centimeter clot from the carotid artery. This was my second stroke of luck. Joe first saved my life, and now this doctor, it turns out what I had was a carotid artery dissection, and a small piece of my artery peeled away from the vessel. So as the blood rushed through the artery, it was knocking against the small flap on the wall and bursting many of the cells, which formed a large clot. Having a stroke is an extremely difficult situation for any person to have to face. 1 minute you are completely normal, your normal self, and the next you wake up and you are faced with a variety of obstacles to overcome. Since everyone is different, everyone recovers differently. No two injuries are exactly the same. So I want to share with you the 3 biggest challenges I faced and the insights I learned as I overcame them. Because you never know what life might throw in your path. The first challenge for me was physical recovery itself. I wanted to become the best that I could possibly be physically, given the new physical limitations, which included the weak left leg and the paralyzed arm. Being a person who enjoys staying in shape and exercising, I looked at this as a huge athletic challenge. This is a reminder to everyone in this room: do not take your physical health for granted while you are healthy, as you may not realize it now, but you will thank me later, because being in good shape is the only way that you amplify your odds of recovering and dealing with any issue that comes your way. And that was my saving grace. My second adjustment was learning a new role. There is this old joke in healthcare that we nurses and doctors make the worst patients. I needed to learn how to be patient. At first, I insisted I needed to know every rationale behind everything that was asked of me. The doctor and therapist explained to me that I had a choice. I could focus on getting my right side stronger so that I could compensate for the deficits on my left side, or I could work even harder and work on my paralyzed left arm and my leg to return to normal function. And this is possible because of neuroplasticity. This to me was not really a choice. In order to do yoga again, to get back to work and to resume my beach walks or runs, it would require the use of my left side. I realized that being a good patient is in my best interest. If I wanted to be sure that people would give me exceptional care, I would have to be an exceptional patient. I was not in control of much in my hospital life, but I could control my attitude. All of my career, I had been the caregiver, and now, trust me, I know what a bad patient looks like. So I made up my mind that I would become the patient that I would have loved to take care of. It meant giving my best effort in every interaction I would have throughout my day. I attempted to get to know about my caregivers. I made this into a game where I was creating my own personal care team. I referred to it as my A-team. Only the best nurses and friends and therapists and physicians made my A-team. It was a way of coping. Once I learned how to be patient, in turn, people were patient with me. The nurses responded to my caring attitude. When my call light was on, they came right away. The head nurse even allowed my dog to come up for a visit. My family could stay as long as they wanted. My hospital room was full of positive energy, which became inviting, and often the doctors and therapists would just drop by just to say hello. The last challenge I faced was not knowing whether or not I would still be able to work. One of the most meaningful visits during my stroke recovery was when I was in the hospital and my boss, Joe, and his wife, Dr. Markham, the head of Pinecrest School, came to visit me at my bedside. They told me how much they appreciated the service that I had given to the school, where I had been the nurse for 13 years. They encouraged me to fight for a great recovery and told me if I was able to return to work there would be a job for me. Their reassurance had a tremendous impact on my recovery because it was something to work towards, and it reminded me not to accept defeat in the weakest moments. Whether it's terminal illness, injury, or setback, you still have to be a part of society. Finding a job after a stroke or any life-challenging injury can be a huge challenge. I was only 54, which was way too young to leave the workforce on disability. But knowing there was a place for me at the school where I loved to work motivated me to find a way, whatever the price, to become independent again. Before I returned to work, my psychologist suggested taking a vacation with my girls to celebrate my recovery and the journey of my returning to my new life. It was a miracle that we found a week that the three of us could all go on a trip together. I let my daughter Stephanie pick the destination. She chose Hawaii. We set out on our bonding adventure in hope that this would be what we would think of through the years when we remembered Mom's stroke and her stroke recovery. Now let's get back to Joe, my guardian angel, who had saved me from drowning in the tub. Shortly after starting my rehab therapy, Joe and I broke up. He did not want the role of being a caregiver again. Understandably so, he had lost his wife to a battle with cancer a year and a half before. Though we were no longer together, Joe continued to be a guardian angel as he helped pay for the vacation with my girls. So it's only been a year and a half since my stroke, and I appreciate the good health that I have right now and the people that took care of me when I needed it most, and being back on my feet and back at work. I even volunteer now at the rehabilitation unit at Holy Cross Hospital in hopes that I can be the person I was looking for when I was a stroke patient, to bring kindness, hope, compassion, stroke knowledge, and living proof that you do not have to give up. You can create a meaningful life and find your way to a new beginning. Thank you.